Jeffrey Dahmer asesinó a 17 chicos jóvenes durante 13 años. Abría en canal a sus víctimas para disfrutar sexualmente. Guardaba las partes descuartizadas y hacia el final se comía los muslos, los bíceps y los corazones. Pero ¿cómo se convirtió un chico aparentemente inocente en uno de los asesinos en serie más truculentos del mundo? ¿Las circunstancias le llevaron a asesinar y a ser un caníbal o nació para matar? Jeffrey Dahmer fue uno de los asesinos en serie más infames de la era moderna. Su nombre es sinónimo de mutilación, necrofilia y canibalismo. Jeffrey Dahmer creció en la pequeña ciudad de Bath, Ohio, como un chico de clase media del medio oeste americano. A Robert Dressler, un analista conductual del FBI y el responsable de acuñar la expresión asesinos en serie, le llamaron para entrevistar a Dahmer. Sus años de experiencia entrevistando a asesinos en serie, como John Wayne Gacy, le permitieron adentrarse de forma especial en la mente de Dahmer.
No hay pruebas de que Jeffrey Dahmer sufriera maltratos graves ni abusos siendo niño. Su madre tenía un problema mental. Casi siempre estaba deprimida. Dormía mucho y no compartía las actividades familiares. El padre era doctor en química y un hombre muy ocupado y muy inteligente que pasaba la mayor parte del tiempo trabajando.
Pero los problemas en la relación de sus padres provocaron que el joven Jeffrey se sintiera aislado. Empezó a interesarse por los animales. Los veía de forma muy distinta a cómo ven los niños a sus mascotas. Jeffrey empezó a hacer esto de niño. Recorría los campos colindantes en busca de animales atropellados para añadirlos a su macabra colección. Su fascinación por los huesos siguió hasta ser adulto, pero al final pasó de los animales a los humanos. John Bagderf conoció a Jeffrey Dahmer cuando estudiaban juntos en el Instituto River, a mediados de los años 70. John, conocido profesionalmente como Derf, ha creado un libro de cómics que ilustra sus años adolescentes con Dahmer.
Dahmer lo pasó bastante mal aquí, como muchos de nosotros. Era víctima de humillaciones y agresiones. Le pegaban mucho, sobre todo al principio. Y después acabaron aburriéndose con él. Pero antes supongo que lo pasó bastante mal.
Dahmer habló largo y tendido de su infancia con Robert Dressler. Es la primera vez que se oyen estas grabaciones. Para entonces, Dahmer había descubierto que beber era un modo de paliar el dolor por su confusión con su sexualidad y sus fantasías siniestras.
Did you have problems with daydreaming where you didn't concentrate in school? Well, in junior year, that's when I started drinking, so that was a problem. Yeah. Were you ever called on the carpet for that? A couple times. Yeah. Did you have problems as a result of that? I was punished for it. Yeah.
Jeffrey era un adolescente solitario muy reservado. Cuando se convertía en el centro de atención, era por algo casual. El carácter complejo de Jeffrey implicaba que, aunque aparentemente le gustaba estar en la sombra, también sentía la necesidad urgente de llamar la atención. Durante su adolescencia, como prolongación de su fascinación infantil por los animales muertos, Dahmer empezó a forjar fantasías sexuales con hombres muertos o inconscientes. Esto se evidencia también en su fantasía por matar a un corredor de la zona. La ruptura del matrimonio de sus padres significó que Dahmer, de 18 años, se quedara solo con sus fantasías.
Were you pretty upset by that breakup?
I knew it was inevitable.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious. Yeah, I was upset.
Yeah.
Depressed.
Yeah.
Nothing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Y esto derivó en la muerte de su primera víctima. El objeto de la fantasía de Dahmer era Stephen Hicks, de 16 años. Hicks era un espíritu libre que hacía autostop para ir a un festival de verano. En el Ohio de los años 70 era un modo de viajar habitual. Hicks no se imaginaba a quién encontraría en ese coche. Dahmer descuartizó el cadáver y lo metió en bolsas de basura negras. Las cargó en su coche con la intención de tirarlas, pero un agente le paró por una infracción de tráfico leve. Fue la primera de muchas oportunidades fallidas de detener a Dahmer.
Esta es la casa de Dahmer. Aquí es donde mató a su primera víctima. Lo llevó al sótano y al parecer le arrancó la carne de los huesos. Y cuando los polis entraron y encendieron la luz, todo, el techo, el suelo, las paredes, todo estaba cubierto de sangre seca.
Después machacó los huesos con un mazo. Se fue al bosque y, girando en un círculo de 360 grados, esparció los restos. Pasarían 9 años hasta que Dahmer volviera a matar. Después, ya sería incapaz de parar. Jeffrey Dahmer empezó a beber mucho al empezar la universidad. Su intento por llevar una vida normal no iba como había planeado. Sin trabajo ni aptitudes, pero consumido por el deseo de volver a matar, Dahmer se fue a vivir con su abuela en Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Allí, Dahmer intentó buscar consuelo en la religión. Durante un tiempo, Dahmer logró controlar sus impulsos. Sin embargo, esto solo resultó ser la calma antes de la tormenta.
Do you think that note throwing thing was kind of a catalyst, kind of a trip off?
It seems that way to me. Because that's when everything started falling apart again.
What did that mean to you? I mean, this thing.
I was just sitting there sort of throwing out a challenge to whoever, and sure enough, I started falling apart.
You didn't follow the guy.
I didn't.
You didn't meet up with him.
Dijo que eso creó el marco para buscar más contactos sexuales con jóvenes y que derivó en homicidio. Y eso se repitió 17 veces más.
Incapaz de relacionarse con la gente, pero desesperado por un contacto sexual necrófilo, en 1985 Dahmer empezó a frecuentar saunas gays, donde se llevaba a su compañero a un cuartito y lo drogaba. El sexo para él era un medio para obtener y ejercer control físico sobre su compañero, pero cuando se corrió el rumor de que drogaba a jóvenes, se le prohibió la entrada en los locales gays y empezó a acudir a hoteles.
After the ambassador one that was at, did you find that pleasurable or was that equally frightening? Yeah. For what reason was that one frightening?
Because it was a totally unplanned, it was a total surprise to me that it happened.
That it happened, yeah.
Para la gente de Milwaukee, solo sería el inicio de una ola de asesinatos que duraría 5 años. A partir de ese momento, Dahmer siguió matando. A veces pasaban meses, semanas o solo días entre sus asesinatos. Después de matar a 4 hombres en agosto de 1988, Dahmer cometió un error. Su quinta víctima escapó. Avisaron a la policía y detuvieron a Dahmer por acosar y hacerle fotos a un chico de 13 años. Ni la policía ni el tribunal conocían su elevado número de víctimas y lo condenaron a 12 meses en una cárcel de baja seguridad. Su abogado fue Gerald Boyle.
Pasó el primer año en un ambiente muy desagradable en la cárcel del condado, donde solo se podía salir para ir a trabajar. No fue fácil cumplir esa condena, así que el juez le impuso un duro castigo. Pero nadie imaginaba que ya había matado a 4 personas.
Su condena se redujo tras una petición desesperada al tribunal, declarando que lo que había hecho era deplorable y asegurándole al juez que no volvería a suceder, pero pronto ocurriría. Dahmer necesitaba su propia casa. Se mudó de casa de su abuela a un piso en los apartamentos Oxford 213. Tras esta puerta, Dahmer tiene un lugar donde hacer realidad sus fantasías y cometer actos atroces sobre otros, un lugar de muerte y destrucción. Conoció a muchas de sus víctimas en bares gays. El camarero Tony Timer recuerda bien a Dahmer.
Venía a la barra, pedía algo y se sentaba en un rincón. Estaba en su mundo, como si esperara algo, y obviamente ahora sabemos que así era.
Aquí fue donde Dahmer conoció a un buen amigo de Tony, Eddie Smith.
Eddie era una persona tan alocada que no podías evitar que te cayera bien. Y a Dahmer le cayó bien. Se conocían muy bien, lo bastante como para convencerle para ir a su casa a hacerle fotos.
Eddie soñaba con convertirse en modelo y Dahmer sabía lo que tenía que decir. $100 por sesión era dinero fácil. El miércoles 24 de junio de 1990, Eddie quedó con Dahmer y se le vio bailar con él en el Club Phoenix. No fue hasta el juicio, años después, cuando Tony se percató de que ese hombre tranquilo que iba a su bar era el mismo que había asesinado salvajemente a su amigo. Pero el objetivo de Dahmer no solo era la comunidad gay. Era un asesino oportunista que siempre estaba al acecho de una posible presa. Entonces les practicaba sexo oral antes de estrangularlos y descuartizarlos, y con frecuencia guardaba sus partes preferidas en el piso durante días. Una forma de comprender el macabro mundo de fantasía de Dahmer es hablar con alguien que comparte su interés por la muerte y los cadáveres.
Yeah, what was the idea of the frozen lyric?
It was just a way to exhibit control, the way I wanted them to look, and to accentuate the mystique.
Keeping these photographs then was important to you as well.
I'd use them for masturbation.
Yeah, and you had a lot of them.
Right.
Cómo un ser humano llega al punto de comer exclusivamente la carne de alguien solo puede saberlo otro caníbal. Nico trabajaba como ayudante en un depósito de cadáveres parisino cuando probó la carne humana por primera vez.
Sientes un estado de euforia después de haberlo hecho. Te da un subidón. Te sientes como si estuvieras en la cima de una montaña.
During dismemberment, I saved heart, muscle meat from thigh, arm, bicep, yeah, liver. Cut it into small pieces, washed it off, put it in these clear plastic freezer bags, and put them in my floor freezer. Just as an escalation, trying something new to satisfy, and I would cook it. And then look at the picture and masturbate
Afterwards, did that have any positive effect to that ritual? Satisfying?
It made it feel like they were more part of me.
La carne humana sabe como la de caballo, según mi experiencia, pero depende de qué parte te comas.
A la larga, Dahmer quería un compañero al que controlar por completo, vivo o muerto.
I wasn't getting the satisfaction from having to kill people. So I took it to a new level. I had a hand drill that I use for normal things like installing my alarm system and everything. Drills a small bore with a skull very quickly. And with a large syringe, I filled that up with resin, injected it into it.
Filled it?
Yeah, injected it into the front lobes, hoping to produce a zombie-like state.
Ha conocido a Conerac Synthasophony, de 14 años, en el centro comercial cuando probó su nueva técnica para taladrar, pero cometió el error de dejarlo solo.
I saw him sitting on the sidewalk. Two girls were with him. They called the police. They had to think of a story quickly. They told him he was a friend who gets drunk. He was not wanting to go back, so one officer grabbed him by this arm, another officer grabbed him on the other arm, and they walked him up to the apartment. And they left. That's when I gave him the second kicking.
Right away? And how long did it take from the guy?
And that was
Immediate.
De nuevo, como muchas veces antes, la faceta cortés de Dr. Jekyll de su personalidad engañó a la policía. Pero los cadáveres se amontonaban y un hedor salía de su piso, y al poco tiempo empezó a llamar la atención. Sopakliva Princeville se encargaba del edificio donde vivía Hammer y tuvo que lidiar con las quejas.
Alguien me dijo que el olor salía de su piso, así que tuve que llamarle y preguntarle qué pasaba, que si no podía limpiar.
How did that go?
I'd either blame it on the freezer or the fish tank.
He said he almost passed out. What was in that?
3 headless toxins.
Yeah.
Stripped of flesh.
El hombre que puso fin al reino del terror de Hammer fue Tracy Edwards, de 32 años, quien tras escapar de Dahmer corrió por la calle con unas esposas en una muñeca y consiguió ver un coche patrulla que pasaba. La ola de asesinatos de Dahmer había llegado a su fin. ¿Qué motivaba a Dahmer a matar, descuartizar y comerse a sus víctimas? ¿Estaba loco o cuerdo? Jeffrey Dahmer tenía solo 18 años cuando acabó con su primera víctima. 9 años después se sintió impulsado a matar otra vez. Después los asesinatos se intensificaron. Siguió matando y durante años salió impune. Nadie sospechó que ese chico de clase media, afable y atractivo, había cometido tantas maldades. Esta vez fue diferente. Estaba bajo custodia y no iban a perderlo de vista. Al saber que todo había acabado, Dahmer cedió por escrito sus derechos a un abogado. Desde la medianoche hasta la madrugada del día siguiente, reveló la infame verdad tras sus actos perversos. Que lo abandonaran siendo adolescente, creó en Jeffrey un miedo que afectó a su vida adulta.
Dahmer declaró que había amado a todas las víctimas de sus crímenes y que quería que se quedaran con él de forma permanente. Todo se reducía a la misma rutina. Cuando se iban a ir, morían.
Ni siquiera el propio Dahmer puede dar una explicación.
What do you account to the fact that you're getting into this so often?
The fact that I was desperately trying to make it so it satisfied, but it never did completely.
¿Pero era un simple caso de alguien incapaz de encontrar lo que buscaba?
You met somebody who consensually would set up a living arrangement with you. Would you have abandoned then the procedure that you stayed with?
The person would have had to be totally compliant, willing to do whatever I want. And it's just heartbreaking people like that.
That's true.
Nunca cupo la menor duda de que Dahmer cometió estos crímenes atroces. Su confesión de 60 horas y las pruebas irrefutables resolverían una pregunta complicada. ¿Estaba Dahmer cuerdo o loco? Si el tribunal decidía que estaba cuerdo, pasaría el resto de su vida en la cárcel. Si consideraban que estaba loco, iría a un hospital psiquiátrico del que algún día, tal vez, podría salir. El fiscal Michael McCann enfocó el juicio de otra forma.
En Wisconsin existe lo que llamamos juicio bifurcado. Usamos el mismo jurado, pero lo hacemos por fases. Primero, ¿hizo él todo eso? Segundo, ¿estaba cuerdo o loco? Así que la segunda parte del juicio era lo fundamental y se debatió durante 7 semanas en esta misma sala.
Dahmer recurrió a su antiguo abogado, Gerald Boyle. Boyle creía que su cliente tenía que estar loco.
Matar no significaba nada para él. No era consciente, así que no se iba a rehabilitar, trabajara con quien trabajara.
Una persona normal no consideraría un acto de cordura matar y comerse a otro ser humano. Pero según la definición legal de cordura en Wisconsin, si alguien sabe que lo que está haciendo está mal pero sigue haciéndolo, se le considera cuerdo. Durante el veredicto, Dahmer se sentó impasible ante el juez y las familias de los que había matado y descuartizado. Le declararon cuerdo y lo condenaron a cadena perpetua el 17 de febrero de 1992. Al enfrentarse a la cadena perpetua, Dahmer se refugió en la religión otra vez en busca de consuelo y una posible salvación. Finalmente, le pidió al pastor de la Iglesia de Cristo, Roy Radcliffe, que fuera a la cárcel a bautizarle.
Después de aceptar bautizarle, suspiró profundamente aliviado porque temía que le dijera: no puedo bautizarte porque tus pecados son demasiado graves, demasiado malos, imperdonables. Eso quebranta aquello en lo que siempre he creído. Nunca diría eso. Jesucristo vino a salvar pecadores. Jeffrey Dahmer lo era. Y punto. Se acercaba a Acción de Gracias y me dio una tarjeta en la que decía lo agradecido que estaba por todo lo que había hecho por él y porque yo estuviera en su vida y hubiera confiado en él. La única emoción que confesó en relación a sus crímenes fue amor. No era odio y nunca vi una pizca de malicia, ni de rabia, ni de odio hacia sus víctimas.
En noviembre de 1993, 2 presos fueron asesinados por Christopher Scarver, un esquizofrénico, en la prisión de Columbia. Uno de ellos era Jesse Anderson, el otro fue Jeffrey Dahmer.
A Jeffrey Dahmer lo incineraron enseguida, pero le extrajeron el cerebro a petición de su madre. Quería que estudiaran su cerebro porque intentaba contrarrestar lo que había insinuado Lionel, que su cerebro no era normal. Un año después, los científicos que estudiaron el cerebro concluyeron que era normal.
¿El comportamiento de Dahmer se forjó con el tiempo? ¿Dahmer no nació para matar? Fuera lo que llevó a Dahmer por el camino de la destrucción, a Milwaukee le costará mucho volver a la normalidad.
Your Honor, it is over now. This has never been a case of trying to get free. I didn't ever want freedom. Frankly, I wanted death for myself. This was a case to tell the world that I did what I did not for reasons of hate. I hated no one. I knew I was sick or evil or both. Now I believe I was sick. The doctors have told me about my sickness, and now I have some peace. I know how much harm I have caused. I tried to do the best I could after the arrest to make amends, but no matter what I did, I could not undo the terrible harm I have caused. My attempt to help identify the remains was the best that I could do, and that was hardly anything. I feel so bad for what I did to those poor families, and I understand their rightful hate. I know I will be in prison for the rest of my life. I know that I will have to turn to God to help me get through each day. I should have stayed with God. I tried and failed and created a holocaust. Thank God there will be no more harm that I can do. I believe that only the Lord Jesus Christ can save me from my sins. I have instructed Mr. Boyle to end this matter. I do not want to contest the civil case. I've told Mr. Boyle to try and finalize them if he can. If there is ever any money, I want it to go to the victims' families. I've talked to Mr. Boyle about other things that might help ease my conscience in some way of coming up with ideas on how to make some amends to these families, and I will work with him on that. I want to return to Ohio and quickly end that matter so that I can put all of this behind me and then come right back here to do my sentence. I decided to go through this trial for a number of reasons. One of the reasons was to let the world know that these were not hate crimes. I wanted the world in Milwaukee, which I deeply hurt, to know the truth of what I did. I didn't want unanswered questions. All the questions have now been answered. I wanted to find out just what it was that caused me to be so bad and evil. But most of all, Mr. Boyle and I decided that maybe there was a way for us to tell the world that if there are people out there with these disorders, maybe they can get some help before they end up being hurt or hurting someone. I think the trial did that. I take all the blame for what I did. I hurt many people. The judge in my earlier case tried to help me, and I refused his help, and he got hurt by what I did. I hurt those policemen in the Conorak matter, and I shall ever regret causing them to lose their jobs. And I hope and pray that they can get their jobs back because I know they did their best, and I just plain fooled them. For that, I am so sorry. I know I hurt my probation officer, who was really trying to help me. I am so sorry for that, and sorry for everyone else that I have hurt. I have hurt my mother and father and stepmother. I love them all so very much. I hope that they will find the same peace I am looking for. Mr. Boyle's associates, Wendy and Ellen, have been wonderful to me, helping me through this worst of all times. I want to publicly thank Mr. Boyle. He didn't need to take this case, but when I asked him to help me find the answers and to help others, if I could, he stayed with me and went way overboard in trying to help me. Mr. Boyle and I agreed that it was never a matter of trying to get off. It was only a matter of which place I would be housed the rest of my life, not for my comfort, but for trying to study me in the hopes of helping me and learning to help others who might have problems. I know I will be in prison. I pledge to talk to doctors who might be able to find some answers. In closing, I just want to say that I hope God has forgiven me. I know society will never be able to forgive me. I know the families of the victims will never be able to forgive me for what I have done. I promise I will pray each day to ask for their forgiveness when the hurt goes away, if ever. I have seen their tears, and if I could give my life right now to bring their loved ones back, I would do it. I am so very sorry. Your Honor, I know that you are about to sentence me. I ask for no consideration.
My name is Dorothy Straughter. I'm Curtis Straughter's mother. I didn't have nothing prepared to say. It's just a few things that I would like to say. You took my 17-year-old son away from me. I'll never get a chance to tell him that I loved him. I'd have a chance to tell him that I loved him the last time I saw him, which will be a year tomorrow.
I'm a J.W. Smith, brother of Edward Warren Smith. Edward Warren Smith tried to be Jeffrey Dahmer's friend. As a result, he lost his life. Mr. Dahmer, Eddie's gone now, the victim of your senseless killing. Where do we go from here? We ask ourselves, why did this happen to a person like Eddie?
My name is Inez Thomas, and I'm the mother of David Thomas. You know, I don't understand how a person could really harm a person and to say that, well, I did this because he wasn't my type. Well, if everybody go around doing something to somebody because it's their type, this will be a sad world today. And I just feel that this man should never be able to walk the face of earth or to be able to harm anyone else again.
My name is Rita Isbell, and I'm the oldest sister of Errol Lindsay. Whatever your name is, Satan, I'm mad. This is how you act when you are out of control. I don't want to ever see my mother have to go through this again. Never, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I hate you, mother. This is out of control. Don't I kill you, Jeffrey. Look at me, motherfucker. I kill you.
What's your name, fast?
I kill you. You don't have to
Take it easy.
Turn to the right, like the fish tank is here. I'm turning all the way over here.
You turn to your right to look at it?
To look at the fish tank, right.
And when that happens, what happens to you?
All of a sudden, a handcuff and a knife is pulled on me. Yeah.
Handcuff is placed on your body? Where?
On my left wrist.
And you see a knife?
Yeah.
What'd you do? What'd you say to him?
I asked him what the problem was, that it's not necessary to do this,
What'd he say?
He told me at that point if I wouldn't do what he said, he would kill me, yeah.
What did you do when you got in the bedroom as he's holding on to the cuff and the knife? What did you do?
Studied us talking, trying to be friends with him, yeah.
Did you remain standing? Did you sit down?
He made me sit down at that point. We both sit on the bed.
Was it at the foot of the bed, side of the bed, head of the bed?
Maybe halfway between.
Did that room have a TV set in it?
Yes.
Was there anything going on the TV?
Yeah, the Exorcist movies was playing at that time.
Did you observe him watching the movie and how he would react to the movie?
Right, he would like just start rocking back and forth when he, certain parts of the movie or whatever.
You have to say, what did he say, madam?
It was like chanting in certain times and rocking back and forth, right?
Okay, did you and he move off of the bed at any time?
Yes, he wanted me to lay flat down, stomach down on the floor at that time. He kind of laid across me, put his head across my chest at that point.
What was he doing with his head?
Pardon me?
What did it appear to you he was doing with his head? What was he trying to do?
Like he was listening to my heart, because at a point he told me he was going to eat my heart at that point.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. It's been 3 weeks, and it's been like a long time, I know, for you, and it's been for us as well. I am advocate for the people of the state of Wisconsin. I've been in that role for a long time. I'm very proud and very happy to be doing it. First, we started out by saying the burden of proof in this case is on the defendant. That's unusual in the system of justice. But what we say in the state of Wisconsin is Jeffrey Dahmer has killed 15 people. He sits here in this courtroom, convicted of being a killer. He now asks you not to hold him responsible for those killings.
This guy decided that he is going to make Stephen Hicks die
so that he can extend his desire, his pleasures.
The court will impose a mandatory life sentence plus an additional 10 years on the habitual criminality. 15 life imprisonment with parole eligibility to be 70 years after the inception of that sentence to be consecutive to count 14. Believe I have, and I intended to follow the recommendation of the state. I could have said something different which would have had the same impact. I really see nobody gains anything by just to say more and more years. The important point is that the sentence is structured in such a way that this defendant will never again see freedom.
Your dad comes here to visit about once a month, but I get the impression that the two of you don't talk a lot about everything that happened, about the crimes in particular.
No, we don't discuss that because it's been gone over so thoroughly in the papers and the media that there's just really no point in going into any in-depth talks about it. We talk about our family, home, how things used to be, what prison life is like here now, and try to keep things as light and upbeat as possible.
Is it hard for you to go back and talk about those things?
No, not the good things. In fact, it gives me a sense of comfort to talk about the few good times there were in the past.
You say the few good times. Do you think of your childhood as having been profoundly unhappy?
No, not profoundly. My childhood wasn't filled with any great tragedies or anything. There were good times and there were bad times. I think it was fairly normal.
Jeff, do you remember your earliest experience and earliest interest, fascination with the inside of animals? Where that came from?
In 9th grade, in biology class, we had the usual dissection of fetal pigs. I took the remains of that home and kept the skeleton of it. And I just started branching out, dogs, cats. I suppose it could have turned into a normal hobby like taxidermy, but it didn't. It veered off into this. Why, I don't know. All I know is that I wanted to see what the insides of these animals looked like.
Was there some pleasure in the cutting open of the animal?
Yes, there was. No sexual pleasure, but just it's hard to describe.
Sense of power, sense of control?
I suppose that's a good way of putting it, yeah.
I can sort of see a fascination for, wanting to see or for looking at the insides of animals, say for the first time. After you did it one time, what more is to be gained by looking at another dog's inside, the second or the third?
I don't know. It became a compulsion, and it switched from animals to humans. I still don't understand it. I don't know why.
What would you do with the dead animals, Jeff? You would pick the carcasses up from the road and take them back into the woods.
Take them back in the woods, skin them sometimes, slit them all the way open, look at the organs, feel them. There was a sort of general excitement for me. I don't know why. It was exciting to see.
One of your dad's biggest questions is when you began to slip away, when you crossed over into this world of obsession or dark fantasy from which you just couldn't return. Can you pinpoint that? Is there a sense for when that really began to happen with you, Jeff?
I think it was around age 14 or 15. Started having obsessive thoughts of violence intermingled with sex. And it just got worse and worse. I didn't know how to tell anyone about it, so I didn't. I just kept it all inside.
Do you have any sense for where that was coming from?
No. No, I've talked with a few psychologists about it. They have their theories, but they don't have any concrete answers either.
Do you have a theory?
No, not really. I don't know where it came from.
probably will never know. But I never dreamed that it would become a reality.
This was the summer of 1978 when you took your first victim.
Right. Once it happened the first time, it just seemed like it had control of my life from there on in. The second occurrence was 1984, roughly. And I met this guy at one of the bars, downtown Milwaukee bars. We went back to the hotel, just planning on getting drunk. I had put some sleeping pills in his drink to render him unconscious. And was just going to spend the night with him. When I woke up in the morning, my forearms were bruised and his chest was bruised and blood was coming out of his mouth. He was hanging over the side of the bed, and I have no memory of beating him to death, but I must have. And that's when it all started again.
Did you ever tell yourself, I have to stop this? I must stop doing this?
Yes.
When it was going on?
After the second time, it seemed like the compulsion to do it was too strong, and I didn't even try to stop it after that. But before the second time, things had been building up gradually, going to bookstores, going to the bars, the gay bars, bath clubs. When that wasn't enough, buying sleeping pills and using it on various guys in the bath clubs. It just escalated slowly but surely. And after the second time, which was not planned, it was out of control. It felt like it was out of control.
Where did sex enter in to the killings, Jeff?
It was a big part of it. My only objective was to find the best looking guy that I could. Their sexual preference didn't matter to me.
Did their race matter to you?
No, their race didn't matter to me. The first two young men were white. The third young man was American Indian. The fourth and fifth were Hispanic. So no, race had nothing to do with it. It was just their looks.
Was there something sexual in the dismemberment of the bodies for you?
As time went on, yes, I did get there was a sexual part to that. I started saving the skeletons and preserving other parts, and one thing led to another. It took more and more deviant type behaviors to satisfy my urges, and so it just spiraled out of control.
Why the cannibalism?
It made me feel like they were a permanent part of me. Besides the just mere curiosity of what it would be like, it made them feel that they were a part of me, and it gave me a sexual satisfaction to do that.
Was it the killing that excited you, or is it what happened after the killing?
No, the killing was just a means to an end. That was the least satisfactory part. I didn't enjoy doing that. That's why I tried to create living zombies with muriatic acid in the drill, but it never worked. No, the killing wasn't the objective. I just wanted to have the person under my complete control, not having to consider their wishes, being able to keep them there as long as I wanted. It's not easy to say that, but that's what the motive was.
Where did that need for control come from? Do you have any idea?
I don't know, maybe I felt I had no control as a child or young adult, and that got mixed in with my sexuality, and I ended up doing what I did was my way of feeling in complete control, at least for that situation. Creating my own little world where I had the final say. Finding the best looking guy that I could and having total mastery over him for as long as I wanted. Lust played a big part of it. Controlling lust. That was the motive right there.
The two of you never really communicated all that much, did you, father and son?
Not on any deep level, no. We talked about superficial things. Never really had a real deep heart-to-heart talk about what was going on inside our own minds. I was always a very private person. I didn't like to open up and share anything with anyone. I like to keep my thoughts to myself.
Why do you think that was?
Because from about 15 years on up, a great deal of my thoughts were basically unshareable with anyone. So I just closed myself off and put on a mask of normalcy.
Did you ever consider talking to your parents, to your dad, about homosexuality? Is that something that you felt you could ever raise?
Early on, I really didn't know that much about it myself. All I knew was that it was something that was to be kept hush-hush, not talked about, not even thought about. So I just kept it all within me and never talked about sexual issues at all, really, with anybody.
Do you think if you had been able to talk about that in a more open way with your dad, for instance, that it would have helped, might have broken this veil of secrecy and enabled you to keep yourself from going down that road?
I don't know exactly what, if anything, would have ever kept me from going down that road. Talking about it, I don't think would have made that much difference, because, like I said, there were things going on in my head that I would have never opened up and talked about with anybody.
What do you remember about your parents arguing when you were growing up, and what effect that had on you?
It was unnerving, depressing, made me angry sometimes. I'd leave the house, go out in the woods and sulk, brooding, wondering why they had to have such a rough relationship. Most of the time they didn't seem to get along too well together. I never knew what the real underlying problems were. I didn't feel it was my place to ask.
Did you blame one or the other? Mom or Dad?
No. No, I didn't. I was just frustrated that things couldn't be happier around the house.
You just wanted things to be more peaceful.
Right. Right. I never saw any real violent arguments as far as physical hitting or anything like that, but there was a lot of yelling, a lot of tension in the house sometimes.
One of the chilling stories that your dad tells is about the box he had found. Can you give me your perspective on that?
I had a box in my bedroom closet, and it contained the mummified head and genitals of a young man I met in one of the bars down in Milwaukee. And it was a locked metal box. My dad one week came to visit and happened to see it, and we got into a bit of an argument because I wouldn't open it up. He took the locked box down to the basement and was about to smash it open.
What were you thinking as he was making his way downstairs to open the box?
Well, I was outside, and I was thinking I've got to stop this from happening. I didn't know what I'd do or say. I didn't know what would happen. I thought, it's all going to come crashing down now. And but the box was never opened. not in my dad's presence. And so the lies continued. The whole scenario just continued for years after that.
Were there times when your dad may have been closer to discovering what was going on than even he knew? Times where you got worried that maybe he would find something out?
The box incident was about as close as it came, yeah. That was just one incident. There were others, but that was a particularly nerve-wracking one.
Are there others you can share? Other close calls?
When acidified, dissolved human remains were found, they didn't look like human remains anymore, but they were in the trash bin outside in the garage. That was one incident. And a few others I'd rather not go into right now.
Were you relieved to be arrested?
Part of me was, and part of me wasn't.
Explain.
I don't know. It's like I don't believe I have a split personality, but you know the feeling where you're sort of glad about something, but on the other hand you're not. That's how it was. It was a relief not to have to keep such a gigantic secret that I'd kept for so many years. And once I saw that I had no choice but to face it, I decided to face it head on and make a full confession. So I am glad that the secrets are gone. I tell you, Dad, I'm really sorry that this has happened, and I love you a lot.
I love you too.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
We haven't always shown it a lot, but I do love him a great deal.
I love you.
And without the support of my folks, I don't think I would have come through this. We've opened up with each other a lot more now since the trial and everything. There's no secrets to be hidden away. You know, I don't feel that I have to keep any secrets from him. We've come to face what's real now, instead of just glossing things over and talking about superficial things.
I can't think too clearly right now. I'm feeling pretty emotional. I think that a lot of things have been brought out in this interview that has brought us to a little bit deeper, just a little bit closer understanding as to how this all originated. And, well, whenever I get emotional, my analytical side gets clouded, and I can't express myself quite as well as I would like.
Can you talk about the feelings you have? You feeling close to Jeff?
I feel very close to Jeff, and it's going to continue until our death. And I feel good about it.
Do you think you'll ever have the answers you've been looking for about why, what happened, and what role, if any, you played?
Maybe not. My primary question is the origins of it. And if something can be learned about that, it may help other people avert problems.
Is it still there, Jeff? Does it ever go away?
In part, no, it never completely goes away. I'll probably have to live with it for the rest of my life. I wish it would go away. I wish there was some way to completely get rid of the compulsive thoughts, the feelings. It's not nearly so bad now that there's no avenues to actually act on it. But no, it never seems to go completely away.
So the thoughts still come to you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Are you different, Jeff, in terms of how you think back on all of this?
I would hope I'm different. I'm glad I'm in a position now where I don't feel the compulsion to do these things. I'm glad that it's over. Any words I say to the victims' families are just going to seem trite and empty. I don't know how to express the regret, the sorrow, that I feel for what I've done for their sons. I can't find the right words.